I have loved Call of Duty Zombies since I was 6 years old. When I found out what the internet was, one of the first things I did was look up all I could find about zombies. That's how I ended up learning what Easter eggs were and the lore behind the games. I have been a part of the COD Zombies community for over a decade now. I've been there through the good, I've been here through the bad, I've been there for the funny, and I was there through the sad. And through all of these years of playing the games, completing Easter eggs, listening to hidden radios, and being guided by a man made of waffles, there has been one idea that has been constant. An idea that I know I'm not alone in thinking. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's a popular idea, and yet it has never been done for some damn reason. Let's not beat around the bush anymore. You know how to read, or at least I hope you do. We need a standalone COD Zombies game. And the fact that we still don't have one is straight up idiotic on Activision's part. Ever since the birth of zombies, the mode itself has always been a side project, always reusing campaign or multiplayer assets to create the incredible experiences we know and love. That's not to say zombies has always been like that, because obviously it hasn't. As the mode evolved, we saw more resources being put into it. BO3 and the beginning of BO4 are my biggest examples of that. Yet even when Zombies is at its highest levels in terms of budget and the attention is at an all-time high, it never feels like the mode is even close to reaching its highest potential. Zombies had built up an insane world and story throughout all of these years. There's probably countless possibilities in terms of storytelling that were just never capitalized on. Great word. A standalone game, even if it doesn't have the full budget of a regular Call of Duty, which, let's be honest, it would never have, could have a wealth of content to justify its purchase. Just think of all of the side modes for zombies we've gotten over the years. Grief, Turned, Outbreak, and even Zombie Battle. Imagine if we could have a game that holds all of these and more, expanding on previous ideas that were held back by the lack of budget and time. Furthermore, you could still have the usual modes every COD offers just with zombies theming. In my eyes, just because it's a Call of Duty Zombies game doesn't mean it's only a zombies mode. You could have a fully fledged campaign following a story with characters. Think kind of like Nightmare from Black Ops 3, but if it wasn't the worst piece of shit to ever piss on your eyes. The missions themselves could be structured like directed mode, but in campaign-specific maps. Set waves and set objectives with cutscenes and a few boss fights in between missions. You could also adapt multiplayer into this. There is a million ways you could justify conflict within humans, or maybe non-humans a la Halo, into a multiplayer format. Whether it's Richtofen vs Sam, Richtofen vs Maxes, like the humans were in BO2, or hell, even Group 935 vs Templars, making stuff like the Origins intro into a whole multiplayer map. The possibilities are literally endless when it comes to locations. We have already had zombies-inspired maps in MP before, and even the ones that aren't directly zombies linked are still looked on fondly. Maps like Citadel and Micro are some of the most visually interesting maps we've had in years, and with a zombies-themed multiplayer, your options are unlimited. Then there's the zombies mode itself. You wouldn't even have to get all that creative with it, honestly. We've been doing this whole song and dance for almost 20 damn years now. Fuck, I'm old. We know what works and we know what doesn't. All you would really have to do is hammer home the little details like having an actual main menu. You could even turn factions into a reality instead of the running joke that it is in the community. You could bring back Outbreak and properly flesh it out, maybe mix it with Endgame a little bit, with original locations and better objectives. You could even add the PvPvE element a lot of us were clamoring for. At the same time, you could fix the biggest issue Outbreak had at the time, which was how much development time it drew away from the round-based mode. It wouldn't be an issue, since we would have a whole game to focus on zombies and everything the fans could possibly want with it. Having a standalone game would fix or at least help mitigate a lot of the issues with current-day zombies. One of the main ones, in my opinion, is how Zombies itself, and also the team that works on it, is straight up imprisoned by the rest of Call of Duty as a whole. Now, this is a topic that needs its a whole video, but to summarize, modern Zombies is a victim of Warzone. So many of the mechanics most of us either hate or in my case feel apathetic towards were added because of Warzone and how much Cold War had to share with it. And the existence of these modern mechanics, as the community has dubbed them, have caused this almost 6-year-old journey where we've culminated in having to do a full circle to classic mechanics with Cursed just so half the player base can remove them. Furthermore, it's no secret that Zombies has been declining in terms of sheer content quality since the latter half of BO4. The interest and budget were being cut so hard the cutscenes just shat themselves, and the next COD Zombies game we got had to reuse areas from the campaign for every map it released. At least when it came to BO6 and 7, we have seen a lot of that budget and interest come back, but it's still not enough. We still don't have a fucking main menu! In BO6, we didn't even get cutscenes for half the maps. And while I am thankful that Black Ops 7 actually has cutscenes, and some of the best ones at that, we are still missing some key elements that were emblematic of the golden age of Zombies. One of the ones that hurts me the most is just the lack of music videos. Now yes, I know there is one for BO7, but it's only one! We have 4 maps and only one video that uses the worst song in the game by far. Sorry, I'm a huge A7X fan, but Magic is just... ugh. And has to mix 2 maps instead of being tied to 1. Again, I want to make it clear, I do love this music video, and I am eternally grateful it exists, but I can't help but feel like we could be getting not just more, but also videos that are better if only BO7 Zombies wasn't so tied to the pile of utter dog shit that is BO7 itself. We have an amazing Zombies mode and team imprisoned by the mistakes of a horrible campaign and COD fatigue. When you really think about it, that might just be the worst part of all of this. BO7 really isn't that bad of a Call of Duty. If you actually take away all of the internet sentiment and you look at it as a product, as a game itself, yes, the campaign sucks, but the multiplayer is actually pretty fun, and that comes from somebody who doesn't usually play multiplayer. The last Call of Duty multiplayer I took seriously was Black Ops 4. So yeah, that's the type of person I am. And I actually did enjoy it quite a bit. I don't play it consistently, but it is good. I can admit when something is good. The campaign, of course, horrible, but Endgame actually does have some pretty interesting ideas, and let's be honest, Endgame is pretty much just Modern Warfare Zombies, but a bit better in my opinion. And that's just from looking at it, because I actually haven't played Endgame. Yeah, I know, I'm a fake fan, whatever, LARPer, whatever you want to call me. I have not played Endgame, but it does look pretty good. And then, of course, Zombies. Zombies is straight up just the best part of BO7. I wish you could just separate Zombies and certain modes apart. Obviously, they would never do that. That would just be a stupid idea from their part. But if by some miracle a parasite invaded Activision's brain and actually gave them a little bit of empathy, it would actually help their customer base a lot. Now, there is a main issue I do sort of want to tackle when it comes to the whole idea of a standalone COD Zombies game, and this is an argument, like many, that I have only heard on TikTok, because as we all know, only the purest philosophers and intellectuals lay in those comment sections. And that is the notion, or the idea, that a standalone COD Zombies game wouldn't sell well. And to that I say, fuck off. Honestly, like, just think about this for a second. Call of Duty is already selling lower than it has in years. COD fatigue is still at an all-time high. Now, there is a chance MW4 changes the image of it, since they seem to be going back to that MW 2019. And if you know unks, if you know these fucking 40-year-old dads, you know the thing they love is their MW 2019. They just want to sit in a corner. So, you know, when by the time MW4 comes in, they're probably going to lean into that Modern Warfare 2019 aesthetic really hard, and they're probably going to catch those fans back. But honestly, and I say this with the utmost respect to all the unks out there, you don't matter. Okay, I'm joking. I'm exaggerating. You do matter. It's just like, man, when it comes to sheer quality, when it comes to sheer, like, the simple, most basic idea of what a good game is, Zombies is at the top tier, or at least that's my opinion. And I know many other people feel that way. Multiplayer is hella overplayed. Campaigns have not been stellar for a while. Yes, there is a silver lining every few years or so. There we do get a good campaign like Cold War and MW 2019, but bro, Zombies has been consistently way more interesting than all the other offerings Call of Duty has had for the past few years. If they don't capitalize on this, I don't give a fuck if there's less sales. Hey, if you think there's gonna be less sales, that's why you're giving it a shorter budget. Give it a shorter budget, maybe put it at $60 instead of $70. We know you'll never stoop to $50, because Activision would never even think of that in a million years, but it would be nice to see. You know, just even if it is a smaller side project, just give more attention to Zombies. Make the possibility to have an amazing Call of Duty that isn't just the same regurgitated bullshit over and over. Give it some new life. Bring back the things we actually love and innovate in interesting ways. A full Call of Duty Zombies game has room for so much. God, it genuinely makes me so sad to think about all of this. But yeah, to conclude this insane mess of criticisms and ideas when it comes to a standalone COD Zombies game, I really just want to say I love zombies. Whether it's classic or modern, whether it's BO3 or Infinite Warfare, I will always be here. Except for Vanguard. Don't even joke, lad. I want the best for this mode. And I just wish Activision would see the potential and wake up to take the opportunity and actually make this dream a reality for all of us. But yeah, that's about all I have time to say today. If you watched this all the way through, thank you so much. And I hope you all have an incredible day. If you have any opinions, anything you want to add, if you fucking hate me, just leave it in the comments. I will definitely read it. Even if I don't interact, I do read it. I read it all. So yeah, I love all of you, even if you hate me. And I hope all of you have an incredible day.